It's not a movie for the perpetrators, it's a movie for the victims. And to feel the reality, to feel the past, every day, the responsibility we had, that was really intense and important maybe for this project. Not to forget this.
Im Osten steht unser Morgen. Herzlichen Dank für eure nationalsozialistische Gastfreundschaft.
I grew up with his work without knowing that this director name is Jonathan Glazer, because I'm a huge Radiohead fan and Massive Attack fan. I was sitting in a cinema and I watched a commercial, a man and a woman running through walls into the space, and it was really iconic. And then later I realized that it's all the work of Jonathan Glazer, and it was really amazing to know that.
The same for me. I think I grew up with his videos without knowing it was him. I realized that my favorite video, the Uncle video of Rabbit in Your Headlights, is also from him, which still touches me very deep when I see it, and it just doesn't grow old. It's really cool. And the first film I saw from him was Sexy Beast, actually. And then I saw Birth very much later when we were already in conversation, and Under the Skin.
Möchte ich sein.
When we met for the first time for Amour Fou, I felt we had a connection immediately. I think this is a gift to work with an actor who's listening and not to be ambitious, wants to be the best or something.
Yeah, also I like about Christian, first of all, his talent, of course, but also that he is such a wonderful person. You know, some actors, some colleagues do tricks sometimes. They just fool you in the acting, but you don't. I really like that.
We had a lot of conversations about the couple, about the energy, about the character, about the script. And for me, this was the most important thing for preparation. Jonathan did a great job with his investigation and preparation. It was all written in the script. It was difficult because in some scenes it was important to give these characters a little bit of things of my emotional archive or something. Sometimes I said it was important for me to don't show him as a perpetrator, because these family are an example for thousands of people who ranged with a brutal political system, and it's important that sometimes the people recognize, oh my God, this could be me, and to find a way to give him a little bit more humanity, that we understand him, that we believe his actions in the house or with his kids or with his horses.
For me, it was important to not be involved with the character at all. I really tried to protect myself from her. Also with the thought that fascism isn't over at all. The conversations that we had were very political at that point. Not so personal about characters or something, but more overall of the system, about the system that these people live. The power that they would have to use to ignore the things that we as spectators definitely feel and hear and sometimes see.
We started every day without rehearsal, because maybe the first impulse could be right or important or a good energy to start. Sometimes there were no cut, and then we had to do it again or decide, okay, we start again or we make a variation. It was like for me like a little acting school. He shares his vision but invites me to create my own interpretation of the character, and that was a really intimate conversation we had, with a lot of inspiring sentences for me, but not that he said you have to do it in this way, but it could be in this way. Think about it, let it grow in your body and your mind. So
that's what he generally did. I think he made suggestions and he asked questions. He's not somebody who's very controlling as a director. He suggests certain shifts in the scene, and that is very fulfilling. It's a very trustful process. He would always tell us what kind of music he would add, what kind of sounds he would add. And of course he wasn't on set all the time, because he was in a sort of directing house next to the house that we were playing in, with a lot of cameras. There was a lot of space for us, and they would never like cut a scene in the middle and put it from another angle. All these things that we normally do when we film, we didn't have.
To working with the system, what Sandra said is we had a lot of space and time to create the situations, to find the right tone, the rhythm. I thought it was a luxury situation, because we were all in the same boat, the same time. We had all the same tension at the same time, and there were no waiting or thinking about continuity things or something. We were free in our actions, and we felt the reality, because sometimes we shot scenes simultaneously in different rooms. I was surprised about Jonathan's decision. I was fascinated about the additional things, the sound design, this incredible music, and the effects. We shot with a green screen, and you see now the camp and the reality behind the wall. I was really overwhelmed when I saw the movie for the second time in Cannes. It was uncomfortable in a way, but in the other way I was thinking, in the room his vision works and our work works. It reminds us to not to forget what we are doing. It's not a movie for the perpetrators, it's a movie for the victims. And to feel the reality, to feel the past every day, that was really intense and important maybe for this project, not to forget this.
I have the same feeling, but at the same time, when you are there, you feel like whatever you do there, and if it might be hard for a day, it's never as hard as what has really happened there. So everything you do and feel and think is put into perspective at the same time. The respect of the people and the love from the people for the films was really overwhelming, and nobody would have expected this.
It's a great start for a movie to be there. Sometimes I wish that the Zone of Interest gets some more awards or something, but then I applaud for Anatomy of a Fall. I really like that these two movies have this success and recognized in the world. We don't make movies for awards, but it's great that people recognize, that people know that these movies exist and watch the movies, because this is what we are working for, that people watch the movies, speak about the movie, and maybe inspired by the movies.
Yes.
So, and this is really great. Yeah.
To explore other narratives, other ways of filming, this sort of soundtrack that we have, or that sort of sound work that Johnny Byrne has done, is, all these things, that people embrace it and that they are willing to go this path. That is really, really beautiful. Mm.